Governors Tim Walz and Wes Moore are looking to fire up Democratic voters. Both men delivered their visions for the future of the Democratic Party at a series of events over the last few days, including Congressman Clyburn's world-famous fish fry. It is a good event. I have been. Of course, neither man is running for president just yet, but both made it very clear that this isn't about 2028. It's about right now. Here's Governor Moore.
Now is the time for us to be impatient, too. Let's not just talk about an alternative. Let's not study an alternative. Let's deliver the alternative.
Well, yes, I think that you've heard that echoed from many Democratic elected officials or even some former elected officials, even Anthony Delgado, Lieutenant Governor of New York, who today announced that he's running for governor against Kathy Hochul, current governor. 2 months ago, he said that Democrats need to be for something. Everybody is saying it, yet I am very concerned that the Democrats on Capitol Hill have not heeded the call. Some of them, like Leader Jeffries.
Well, you have two governors. You have a lieutenant governor. You have state officials that we've had on our show come on and talk about that fight because they're the closest to it. Mm-hmm. They, you know, when Wes Moore gets back to Maryland, you know, he hears it. You know, when Governor Walz gets back to us, they hear it. Even when they're traveling around, they are hearing it. They're closer to the ground. The disconnect with the Washington class of public servants is the profound part of this that is problematic for both Republicans and Democrats. And I go back to our conversation with our good friend from in the last couple of segments, Republicans talking about this idea that, well, you know, Republicans always have ads run against them about Social Security and Medicaid. Well, that was then. This is now. This is a very different space. And the attitude on the ground is not the same as it would be in other times, because these aren't those times. And that's the one thing the governors and lieutenant governors and state officials are picking up on and are trying to communicate upstream to both Democratic and Republican elected officials in Washington.
I saw it slightly differently, which is, to me, it was less about the fact that the governors are closer to constituents and here, because I think right now everyone is getting an earful from their constituents. I think setting up the frame as we need to be a party of action behooves a governor, because they are actually in a position to act relative to their friends, relative to their Democratic colleagues on Capitol Hill, which are in the minority.
Already acting.
Because they're, but that's my point, which is Democrats in the House, Democrats in the Senate, They're in the minority. We've discussed many times at this table, there is a limited number of things that they can do action-wise. Whereas for the governors, they can lead in many of these states a legislative agenda. So if your objective is to position yourself as a candidate for presidency, I think the action frame inherently in this moment benefits a Democrat.
I just think today the Democratic Legislative Campaign Committee, which is the entity that helps elect state legislative folks across the country, state reps, state delegates, state senators, they announced that they're going to do a new series. I wrote it down. It was called State of Play. And so talking about how what's happening in Washington, it's a press conference thing that they're doing. They're just going to record with key people all across the country at the state level talking about how that affects them. Some of them are in the minority, but this is the way that they're taking action. Members of Congress could be doing this, and they are not. Reverend Barber was outside talking about poor people today, talking about the Republicans' budget bill, and not one elected Democrat went out there to stand with him. I think that one of my mentors said to me today, I was doing my little check-in calls, and this person is a seasoned Democratic strategist, and they said, you know what? You can't just be ready to meet the moment. You have to want the moment. And I think a lot of Democratic elected officials across the country are waiting to meet the moment because they know that they'll be able to rise to the occasion. But you have to want it. You have to want to be in the streets. And the people, they are in the streets. And they are not going to just go quietly into the night and just wait till you roll over and get ready to come show up in a couple months. No, baby.
Well, if you want the House next year.
Yeah, honey, it's not given.